Welcome back, everyone, to another session of Crituitous RP. Things are a little different today. I got my good friend and brother-in-law Matthew here physically with me for today's session. It doesn't save him from the dangers that are gonna present to him today anyway.
It will not save us from a TPK.
Nope.
Could only make it worse.
So before we go into the session, we would like to do a couple of quick announcements and do our usual stuff. So, for one thing, I'd like to thank the Silver Tree and others for subscribing for 3 months in a row and for more. I greatly appreciate the service and the help that you give by supporting us. But also, we would like to thank our new followers from this past week. So, thank you very much to Lee W7X, Third Fern, Caverlock, Mrs. Pastor Lover, Queen_Queasel.
No.
Thank you very much, you guys, for following us. We greatly appreciate that. But that puts us up at 92 followers. So this is where I come in with the proper official announcement of our 100 follower giveaway. So tell your friends, get people to follow us, get people to come and enjoy the show, because when we reach 100 followers, we will be doing a giveaway, which right now, the plan is a copy of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. So get involved in that. Make sure you're following. When we hit that 100 followers, we'll do the giveaway at that point. Some more news. Coming up on the 27th, I believe it is, of this month, that is a Sunday evening, we will be starting the new second stream on this channel. That is Half-Rate Heroes. That will be a slightly different campaign. It is still set in the Forgotten Realms. It is set in the world after the events of Crituitous RP. So there might be some stuff going on and callbacks in that campaign to the effects that Crituitous RP have had. But it's also completely theatre of the mind. So come along, check it out. It'll be a slightly different style, a lot more descriptive, a group of new players, which are a fantastic group. It'll be fun. Check us out. Once again, stick around for the break today, as we will be doing another Who's That Monster. And without further ado, let's kick into it. So, last week we did a private one-shot that was a flashback into the history of Chult. We explored a little bit of the relationship of Xanthi, the world surrounding Xanthi, and some of her employees went and visited a shrine at Orolunga, which is on the western coast of Chult. At the end of that, we learned that this strange witch woman by the name of Nani Pupu handed the servants of Xanthi a basket with Zola as a baby inside of it. So we still don't quite know the origin of Zola and where she came from or what she has to do with all of this. But prior to that, the week before, our heroes were finally making their way to Mesro. That was the plan all along. Having witnessed the weakened state of Liara Porter, our heroes got on a ship and began sailing south. They did encounter some giants that were apparently searching for the Ring of Winter. And that now makes how many people who are also searching for that ring? Liara Porter is looking for the ring. A group of giants roaming the jungle are looking for the ring. You guys are looking for the ring on behalf of Liara Porter, amongst other things.
And we're looking for the ring on behalf of Zola, who wants us to get that for reasons unknown.
Yeah. And everything stems around the idea that the world is starting to get sick. People are getting sick without any sort of reason. People have begun to understand that it's afflicting only those people that have died previously and been resurrected, and there is no cure. And so any attempt at gaining immortality or extending the life of people while they're dying is preferable, including Carmen's own father. So, without further ado, we jump back into the journey. At this point, our heroes are on the boat. They are sailing away from the still burning and exploded, destroyed giant ship. What are you guys doing? You are maybe 2 days sail away from Mesro. You're a couple hours away from Port Castaglia, which is a place where you could stop and get off, or you could just sail right down to Mesro. I will move us to the player's map of Chult so that we can see. Take some time to load. So, thoughts, ideas?
So mine might take a minute. Do you have a quick one?
Well, if it's right after our encounter with the giants, is that where we are?
Yeah, you're leaving the giant ship. You're still within range to keep bombarding with attacks if you want to make sure that the giants are dead and not going to follow you. That's still possible for you because you're still within that kind of realm.
Well, I wanted to shift my senses to my familiar and see if I can pick up what's going on, if I can see what the giants are doing, what they're talking about. If the giants are saying, oh, we're totally going to follow those people and kill them, versus, oh, let's not mess with those people anymore. That's what I'm trying to...
And you can shift your audio to him, right? So that the languages that you understand, you'd be able to pick up from them. Okay.
And I still have comprehend... No, I don't have... Yeah, I do. I have comprehend languages going because it's not concentration.
Okay. So having the familiar going around, the giants are a little distracted right now still, and so they don't notice the familiar. It seems like the leader is saying, forget them, our goal is set, let's hurry up and find the ring and get out of here.
Very good.
Okay. Anything else? The ship is still sailing.
I am going to grab Grigori by the hand and see if he is willing to follow me below into the hull, where we happen to know that there are not very many people.
Sure.
Right now. Once we get there, turn to him and say, have you been able to come up with anything in these past days that we've been on the water regarding not breaking my brother's heart?
Oh, not breaking your brother's heart was an entirely different arrangement.
No, I read it. It said you cannot cause harm, emotionally or physically.
In the favor I ask of you, in regards to keeping the ring away from Ms. Portier, I suspect, however that goes, is going to cause Shago a certain amount of heartbreak either way. He can't be spared entirely if we prevent Portier from receiving something that could keep her alive. She may die, and that I'm sure your brother wouldn't like.
Okay, so I still should talk to him.
Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't keep the miracle ring that will keep her alive away.
You said you could do anything.
I said I can do anything we contracted to. The contract is that I keep the ring away from Portier, and then my favor that I ask of you later will not harm Shago or anyone else in our company.
No, that's reasonable. I was just hoping.
And if I had a way, my dear, to make that possible, I would. But your brother is too closely tied to Ms. Portier. And short of some other option to keep her alive that you do not find objectionable, some personal tragedy will befall your brother in this endeavor.
Okay. Well, thank you for being straight with me about that.
I would spare you of it if I could, but
I know.
conflicting objectives lead to conflicting outcomes.
I know. I just thought that if someone could figure out a way, it would be you.
Oh, well, you hadn't asked me to think about it before.
Oh, yeah, I did. But that was not contracted. That was just said.
True enough.
I get it. Okay.
I'll put my considerable mental talents to it and get back to you shortly.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. I appreciate that very much.
There are casks of ale and stuff in the basement, and under the, So
What?
not in the basement. There's alcohol below deck.
Oh yeah,
right?
there's
Yeah.
plenty.
Let's take some mugs up to everyone, because hey, we survived another battle, and we can take a moment to think about this.
All right, I'll get the bucket.
There's a roof tower.
So, anything else that you guys would be doing? On the deck, the crew are looking pretty pleased with themselves, having avoided danger with the giants. Glad that you're still alive. Some talking going back and forth about how that was incredible, the kinds of things that you did, and well done. Someone came over and starts poking on Tower to check if this is the real you. They've seen you shift a couple times into an octopus. So, do you have another form, an original form that you shift back to, or you?
This is my true form. I just
Wow.
can shift into many strange beasts. But please, will you stop poking me? It is irritating.
So the mood sailing away from battle seems to be getting a little bit more jovial and excited, and seeing Grigori and Zola popping up with ale certainly is going to help.
Hooray! Carmen's
anything
happy.
Tower's going to pull out his flute and look at Carmen. Should we entertain the crew?
Yeah, go on then. let's go for it.
Performance checks all around.
All right, okay. Can do that.
Can I have my proficiency? Because I am proficient with the lute.
And what are you playing?
The lute.
I
No,
thought you
flute.
said you were
Flute,
playing.
not the lute. I'm playing the lute.
You're playing the lute. I'm playing the flute. I'm proficient with flute. So, your proficiency for performance check?
Yes.
Yeah. It just gives me a +3, a +2.
Yes. That's your good roll for the night now.
That's 20.
Natural 20. Way to get it out on the important rolls.
Started off bad, he's working his way up.
We just got a new follow, Cinder's Master. Thank you.
Yay!
Hello.
Welcome.
So, Tower and Carmen, you guys start playing a performance, and you're having a pretty good time. You're making a good rendition, working well together. A couple of the crew begin to start getting up and dancing. The dancing is a little terrible, but still they're having a good time. The ale is being passed around. Everyone's enjoying themselves.
Oh, good. Cool.
All right.
Having my bucket
You're having your buckets.
between performances.
So over the course of the next day, that evening, the ship will start cresting in front of Port Castiglia. Now, for what you know of Port Castiglia is immediately proven true, is that when you pass by it, it is just a dock and a shed. That's it. One dock, one shed. And the ship captain does pull the ship in so that they can resupply and swap out goods that they don't need into the shed. Kind of like a a geocaching Dropbox scenario. You take something if you leave something behind, and they resupply the ship with the stuff that they think they will need from this point on, that they don't quite need for the main sea
Is there anyone in the shed, or is it just an abandoned, empty place?
It is an abandoned, empty place. It is fueled by the honor code, and the
honor
captain
code jolt.
mentions to you that it is fueled by the honor code. So, would you guys be interested in resupply inside here? And would you stick to the honor code and leave something behind?
Why do you look at me like that?
Because I have to check.
I mean, Grigori's not
Grigori doesn't
inherently
get off the
dishonest. He's
Grigori
just
sees an empty dock and like a shed, and he's like, I'm not even gonna bother to get off the boat. I can't be bothered.
Okay.
I think I'll pop off to see if there's anything that maybe would be of value to put my potions over there and see if there's some gear there that we could use better in town when we get to Mesro.
I'll go with you because I protect.
Yep.
What
Okay.
kind of gear
Oh,
are you
also,
hoping?
I honestly don't even know, but I figure if we scope around, I mean, there might be some things that can help protect us, since there is a lot of undead presence and a lot of strong magics in Mesro. That stuff there that maybe either other potions we could use that would help us with that, or things to just kind of protect us against their magical wiles.
If Zola's wandering around off the boat, Grigori stays in the boat, but I'm like on the bow where I can see everything, and that's all.
Keeping an eye.
That's right.
Okay.
If she goes running into the woods, so help me.
Okay. So
We won't
those
go
of you
far.
that are going to the shed to see if there is anything that might be of worth to you to trade for, go ahead and roll investigation checks.
It's not
Oh no.
Once more, I still got
Is
17.
Davreen going aboard, or is she staying up top with Grigori?
I'm still on the boat.
So
exceedingly average rolls from everyone except for Tower.
It was minus
what
one.
would Tower consider to be useful
Yeah.
for the journey ahead?
Bag of rocks.
50 feet of
Just
hemp
for
rope.
Tower.
Is this Tower's ability to find generally useful or things useful to him?
No, yeah, I was going for general useful for. Well, what do we know about Mesro? Is it on a any kind of is there anything we
No
need to
returns.
scour or any, like? Yeah, but there must be some general knowledge. If this was a place that was overtaken, there must be some general idea what the history of the was it a fortress? Is it something we might need to scour? Do we need climbing equipment?
Mesro was, from what you understand, from what you've been told, Mesro was one of the oldest cities in Chult. At one point in time, it was also considered to be the capital city of the entire land. It was where everything was kind of. It was the Port Nine Zaru of the past age. Everything was built in the typical ziggurat style atmosphere. But since then, after it was ruined by an onslaught of undead, it is all just ruins that have overgrown. So you'll find that the jungle has grown up around the old city of Mesro. So half of the buildings are submerged underneath the ground that has grown over the centuries.
We do think that there's wizard cultists there as well.
Yes,
We're gonna go check
you
out.
know and understand that there should be, fingers crossed, some red wizards somewhere around there. And one lone man that keeps to himself.
Okay, so we're going to attempt a stealthy approach, and we want to stay. I imagine that if we've got this idea that it's boggy and swamp-like, is the rough description has been overtaken, or is it's just wildly overtaken, not swampy?
It's wildly overtaken. Mesro is on the water, so the first parts of the city are a little mushy, but as soon as you get out of the water, everything is thick jungle, grass, solid ground.
Okay, so probably we'll need some sort of gear to cut through thick jungle and not heed our progress too much. Any other ideas, guys? What exactly do you think we'll need on this approach? Sure.
Truthfully, the approach to me seems less perilous than the city itself. Getting in there seems to be only part of the trouble, but dealing with its inhabitants and the evils that they twist is where my fears lie.
With Tower's investigation check, he sees rope, grapple hooks, plenty, and machetes.
Okay. Well, I suggest if we are going through thick jungle, however, that we may have to scale, and we will have to cut through. This jungle will heed our progress. But also, I am concerned about other creatures that may infest that area in our journey, and we should not find ourselves ambushed in a tight corner because of this.
Well, if you want something that cuts, I'm right here.
Yes, and I also have a big sword for this, but I am concerned for everybody else. We all need to be able to push through this jungle. It will be very difficult for one person alone to be doing all of this work.
So, if you're going to take anything from here, are you going to leave anything behind?
What do we have to give? Draco, you suggested you had potions.
Yes, I have 2 potions that I still have on my person. We haven't used them yet. It seems we've been able to fend for ourselves more than capably without using them. Doesn't necessarily mean that we won't need them in the near future, but we could always try to come back on our return and trade back for these potions if we find that we make it out safely without their need. I can also always brew up more potions on the path to replace them. I have 2 personally.
I got some candles I can leave behind. I never need those.
Anything else?
What have I got?
Go ahead and
I have a disguise kit.
You'll need that. All right, so Zola drops off some of her candles, and you guys can claim any of the rope and grapple hooks, just to make sure that everyone in the party has at least a 50-foot rope and a grapple hook.
Okay.
Okay, so if you ever ask, do I have one? The answer is yes, unless you get rid of it for some reason. From this point on, you have a grapple hook and rope. Okay.
Cool. What about the machetes? Are we taking them, or do we have enough swords and blades between us all that might not be necessary?
So the swords and blades could do it. The
Made for it, so they're probably better.
The machetes are a little bit better for the hacking through plant.
Yeah.
As opposed to the big heavy swords that are going to be big swings. You might not have as much space. It might not be as useful. You can take them. It just helps you out a little bit in survival checks to work through the jungle.
Okay. Well, I'll take one.
So, resupplying, jumping back on the boat. Keep going.
Do we grabbed a rope for Averine as well, even though she wasn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
The journey from Port Castiglia to where the ruins of Mesro are, will take 1 more day on the boat. Anything you guys are doing last minute to prepare before you're kind of pushed off the boat?
Chat up the captain for any. Maybe there's some additional information if there's anything that we don't already know. But then at the very least figure out, like, are they going to weigh anchor off the coast? Are they waiting around for us? Or are they giving us a trip back?
Well, I'll be in Port Castaglia, and you come back and we'll go.
How long will we wait in port before you leave without us?
The deal with Liuto is 1 week. We'll stay for 1 week, and then we leave.
Assuming we're dead. As you should. That's why you should leave. That's exactly right.
Alive or dead. Never been a problem before.
Great.
Okay.
That's
So-
the spirit.
They
The
will
cap-
drop you off and then sail back to Port Castaglia. Yeah.
The captain was acting fishy during our trip, and I guess if I have the opportunity, without doing anything too off-putting, I'll just snoop around and see what I can see with regard to whatever the captain might have as an ulterior motive.
Okay. What skills will you be utilizing to do such a thing? Which of your skills will you be putting to use?
I will be investigating.
Okay, go ahead and roll an investigation check. $25. All right. You will find an opportune moment when he's with the crew to just slip into his quarters, give a little search around, see what you can find. You find amongst his belongings a contract of the jobs that he has running for Fort Belawarian. You look through, okay, so he's doing the contract for you, and he's got the stipulations out on there. Then moving, you'll notice with the stipulation of getting you back, his instructions are get the ring back. Whether or not you guys come with it doesn't matter to him. But if after a week it's lost, he's to return. But you begin looking through and you start noticing, hang on, there's not just contracts from Fort Belawarian here. There is a few contracts from a location known as Jahaka Anchorage. Now, you're welcome to roll a history check to see if you've ever heard of that. It is nearly impossible for you, but you're welcome to try.
Close.
Irina's very book learned.
You know of its location. You don't know anything about it, but you know that the Jahaka Anchorage is probably going to be within the Jahaka Bay, which is
Naturally.
on the western side of the peninsula, just above the Cobalt Mountains. Okay. He also has a few contracts that suggest surveillance on Shilku Bay, which is just south of that location. Those contracts are just to observe, gain information, and bring it back. And that's it.
So I get the gist from this, these different contracts that this guy is working not just for Portier, or are these contracts through Portier?
You can get a sense. You don't know whether or not Portier is involved in all of them. You can't be certain whether or not she is or isn't involved in the contracts that are based, that came from Jahaka Bay. And there's no name on the contract that says to report information based on Shilku Bay. But it's possible that they're involved. So could be that he's working for other people. could be that Fort Belawarian, the people that run Fort Belawarian, have contracts that are greater than just the fort. Okay, so that's what you find out. Would you do anything with that information?
I'll share it with my party at some point, but not directly now.
Okay. So, Gahaman, sorry?
Before we go on to the next day, I would send a message to my mum, to my mother.
Oh.
I've not spoken to her in a while.
Oh, she'll be surprised to hear your message.
Yeah.
Or your send. Right. Yeah.
So I would say to her, how are you and father? Arriving in Mesro, looking for ring, which could help him. Have you heard of such item? How's he doing?
Get one more. Wait,
Love.
how's the connection? How is he doing? No, you got one.
Okay. Okay. So I would need a bit more information than just a ring and the city Mesro. Get me more, I can tell you more. Love.
Love. Okay.
There was a bit of an anxious, impatient tone that came back from that. Just so you know.
Okay.
You can cast again.
I could cast again, couldn't I? I'm trying to just remember what Carmen would know from conversations about this ring. She knows that it's Portier is
It's the Ring of Winter. We've been told that.
it's the ring of
Winter.
winter. We've been told it's the ring of winter.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll go back then.
At least people believe it's the Ring of Winter.
We believe it's the ring of winter.
Whether
Okay.
it is or not. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll then go back and say, we believe it's the ring of winter. Other people are also after it. You'd be proud I beat up a giant with laughter.
I like the sound of that. Well done. I don't recognize the name, but I will ask around.
Captain Finger.
I want to get across something, but I don't think I've got enough words. What would she say?
Can she cast it back? That's the question.
Your brother went hunting and is missing.
Oh, God. Ah! Oh, he's such a plonker. Okay. I'm not going to... All I would just send back is just ranting and frustration and... Why is he not there to look after you? He's so selfish. Typical. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Carmen needs to stop calling home. She gets bad news every time.
Yeah, maybe this is all because you're calling home. They're like, we just need her to stop.
Eventually they'll stop responding.
It's not that they're dead. They're just like, okay, leave us alone. Jeez.
So my dad's dying. My brother's now missing. Mum's all right by the sound of it. So that's not too.
Eventually, you'll just be the butler.
I'll have to start calling uncles though.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, anything else you guys would be doing over that day before you arrive in the city of Mesra?
How far away are we landing from it? Are we landing right in it?
The ruins of Mesro touch the edge of the water. There isn't an official dock, or at least there doesn't appear to be anyone anymore. It would probably have been overgrown or ruined or destroyed during the attacks that had happened previously. So sailing the boat, you just pull up anchor at the point when the ship can't keep going anymore.
Okay. I suppose then I will talk to Shago now. I'm putting it off.
We don't need to like row ashore in a rowboat. Like
No.
where it comes out, you just hop out knee deep water. Off you
Yeah,
go.
pretty much.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll be right there. Yeah. So, go see my brother. See how he's doing.
Zola!
Hi. How was your seasickness?
I am all better now. Yes. We are
Miraculous.
getting closer to the land. I am getting better.
You're so happy. I need to talk to you, and it's not going to be an easy conversation.
Then why are we talking about it?
Because it must be talked about. It must be. It's one of those things.
Zola.
What?
Okay.
What? No, what?
Just you sound like you have too much on your shoulders.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. But the thing is, Shago, is that we share the burden, and you may not know all of it. And I need to tell you.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch to Chilton. Sit him down and make sure that nobody's paying attention to us. This ring that we're after, the Ring of Winter.
Yes.
Do you understand how important it is?
I understand. I know that it can save many lives.
It could even be worse than that. The name implies that what we know of it is not all that it can do. And when it comes to a singular item that can save one person from this creeping darkness that is eating away at our home, we have a responsibility. You and I especially have a responsibility because we have political standings that give us credibility and resources. It is literally up to us how we are going to weather this storm, and this is how it starts. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is my next question, and this is going to be very hard for me to ask, and please.
He puts his arm around you. Zola, I love you. It is okay.
I love you too. Okay. Shago, are you going to be the kind of man that places his own concerns above the well-being of the entire world?
I would like to say no. But I know I am not a perfect man. And I could make mistakes.
You don't have to be perfect for this, but you do have to be strong, and you do have to understand that it's other people's beloved ones are succumbing to this thing. Fathers, mothers, children that have been taken before their time. And you and I were built to protect them. We've been trained since we were itty bitty to do this.
Yes.
I need you with me on this.
I am with you, Zola.
Do you understand where I'm going with this?
I understand that an item as powerful as this must be given to save the person who would do the most good with it. We cannot save everyone, so we must take it upon ourselves, be strong, and make sure we give it to the person that can do the most good with it.
And is it not accurate that the person that would do the most good with it is someone who is not personally attached to it? Someone who's unbiased, with the wisdom to choose how we weather this storm. If they're biased, then they're going to make decisions based on that bias.
Yes, you make sense, but wouldn't it also be a case that the person who needs it would use it properly and
I don't think-
appreciate its power?
That's not for us to decide. This is what I'm thinking. This guy that's already carrying it, he might be a good bearer for it, depending on what it does. We'll get our arcanists to figure it out, to see if it does anything else, to see if it's dangerous to be in the presence of. And if he's a good carrier, then just bring him with us. We don't have to hurt him unless he makes us hurt him. If we deem him irresponsible, we will have to take the ring from him. But I'm hoping it doesn't have to be like that.
But if this man has had the ring for so long, and if we have to find him, what is he doing with it? Maybe
I don't
he's
know.
Not that great. Maybe
We've got to meet him to find out all these answers to all these questions. I'm just letting you know that I've been working on a plan to try to capture the best case scenario, and this is what I've come up with.
Okay.
So depending on who he is, we do A or B. We get the ring anyways. Either way. We need to take it to Mom.
Is Mom
She-
sick?
No. And that's what makes her perfect, is that she's unbiased. And we know she has the wisdom to know what to do with it. If at that point, I mean, we can make the case for Liara. I like Liara. I see the good in her. She's not some kind of faceless enemy to me anymore. She's breathing. She's scared. I get that. I see myself in her. And if Mom listens to us, we can make the case. And if she says that this is an acceptable way to go to save her of everybody, then we do it.
Roll a persuasion check.
No deception.
Or a deception check.
Or a
She's
deception.
lying.
No, this is not deception. This is not deception.
It is persuasion.
Can I? Okay. All right. That brilliant speech wouldn't have given me advantage or anything, would it? The fact that I wrote some stuff down, no. Okay.
Still with his arm around you, he pulls you in a little bit tighter, and practically whispering now at this point. Even though you're still talking in Cholton, he seems to, what he's about to say, want to keep that quieter from anyone, even those who can speak Cholton. Okay, I trust you, Zola, but I do not trust myself. If this is a decision that must be made, do not make me make it. If I am given the opportunity to give the ring to our mother or to Liara, I don't know who I would choose. Do not put that on me.
Well, that's what it's on me already. I need help.
I will do what I can, but I don't know where I would go in the moment. I trust you. I trust you now. Everything is clear, but in that moment might be unclear.
Do you think it would be better if you went back home?
No.
I could cover you.
No.
All right. I'm going to talk to everybody as well about all this to make sure that we're all on the same page.
And I'm supposed to be the greatest explorer around here and guide.
You don't need to prove that to anybody.
Okay, but I cannot leave and still pretend to be the best.
It would be understandable. Just saying.
No.
And if you do start feeling that way, like you can't be here, let me know. I'll cover you.
Thank you. So you have persuaded him. Your speech did give you advantage on that. So good job there. All right.
My heart. Oh my goodness.
Anything else that folks are doing prior to jumping off ship?
Wait, are we jumping off of this ship when we get to Mesro? Just
Well, the ship will come in, and then you'll just drop down into the water and run off. So, when you pull up to the city of Mesro, just like you were expecting, everything is nothing but ruins. I always say that wrong. Let me make sure it is.
What time of day do we pull up? Is this like a midnight swing by, jump out of the boat, or is this just like open day?
Well, the ship captain would have suggested getting there early in the day so that you had as much light to search the ruins as possible. But if you guys would have had some other reason to not do so, then that's up to you. But he would have pulled you up and
Crack of dawn.
not quite the crack of dawn, but very early in the morning. Pre-noon.
I cast mage armor on myself.
Okay, you cast mage armor on yourself. Okay. Anything else? So as you guys, you can fix your spells.
That's right. It's level
Spells,
2. Just knock down a level.
Okay. So.
Oh.
All right. Getting off the boat, you are hit by immediately one thing that changes. Everything is jungle. Everything looks like jungle. Everything feels like jungle, and it sounds like jungle. You're getting used to, and you've almost zoned out and deafened out the sounds of the crickets in the distance, the sound of the moving trees and the bristling leaves, everything that you're getting used to. You step off the boat, it's all there. You hear the splashing of the water, the crashing of the wave as it hits up against the side of the boat repetitively, and then you step into the ruins of Mesro, and it's almost like all of that ambient noise has just silenced. Everything seems dead quiet, a little bit eerily so. You have before you a series of ruins. You have a lot of buildings that are broken down, that have been overgrown, all centered around one single ziggurat that is still poking up out of the ground. Everything else is lesser ruins. What are you guys doing?
Can I get an arcana check on the unnatural silence?
Yep. You don't see a thing.
The silence.
Can I do a religion check to see if I can think of anything about it?
On that one,
Since
that's
it's
20. But only the one
Oh
counts.
no. Would that be?
So you can roll a religion check to see if you've ever heard anything in religious
Yeah.
history or any religious reasons why this would happen.
I do a perception check or survival to see if this is. Sounds similar to we had the circle with the statue in it. A similar effect.
That's true.
Go ahead and try either one of those. You are definitely under something similar to that statue room. And if what Carmen and Averine told you was correct, there is a chance when you leave Mesro you may forget everything about it.
Ah.
One of those.
This place feels like the circle in the forest with the statue that you told us about. I can't remember where we killed it down.
Which circle in what forest are we talking about?
The circle in the with the you said there was a statue of some deity.
I don't remember this happening at all.
Yeah, it happened. It happened like you guys saw it twice for us because you forgot. But there was a statue which then disappeared, and yeah, okay. So is there any statues nearby, or is there any items such as?
With your perception check, Tower, you didn't see any statues of Ubtao.
Okay.
And neither does Carmen. You don't see any statues of Ubtao, so it's not exactly the same.
Okay.
You do kind of feel within yourself the same modicum of power as you had sensed previously.
There is strong divine magic here. It feels.
A quick recap on what it is that we're doing here. The original reason for us to come here was to track down the folks responsible for Sandier's death, and those are Red Wizards. And in addition to that, when Portier found we were heading this direction, she sent us to look for a man with a ring who traveled with a lizard man. So in either case, we're looking for people. So I recommend we look for tracks to see if we can find where anyone has come and gone.
Did not the giant say that this ring of winter would create a cold place? Maybe we should be looking for a natural cold in this area.
Aye, good callback.
I will.
Investigation checks from anyone. Survival checks from
Yeah.
anyone.
I look for
Do
snow.
survival.
I'm actually going to climb to the tallest tree that I can find locally here, and can I use perception from there
You can. Wow.
to
Yep.
visually?
Okay, I'll take your passive perception. 16 instead of that 9. All right. You guys struggle to some degree. Greco does find a bunch of tracks.
Great.
All humanoid and medium-sized, though which races they are, you can't really tell.
Are they like
They
in
are
shoes,
fairly
like
recent.
boots or something?
Yes,
Okay.
and they are booted.
Okay.
They are fairly recent, probably a few months, maybe a year at most. Nothing older than that is what you
Okay.
can see. Zola, with your passive in your position that you are, you get a glimpse of something just in your peripheral vision. You're looking around the place, and you know that everything is built around this central ziggurat. Looking away from the central ziggurat, just catching it in the corner of your eye, right before it disappears, it seems almost like it flickers and shifts for a second. And then you look to see, well, it's just as it was. but when it's just out of sight, there's something wrong with it.
I'll slide down. And I did see some movement that way. I don't know what's going on. Seems magical.
I'm going to take out my sword and shield and say, then let's go. That might be where we need to be.
If you see a wizard in a red robe, please keep them alive. We need to figure out what exactly is going on here.
Certainly cannot promise that if they serve the kinds of creatures that I think they do.
I'll wave my hands and cast Detect Magic, so I can see any magic-y things.
Okay.
I will recognize that and do the same thing with my Firbolg magic. It's a better than one.
Do you have to cast them?
I will recognize that and go, nice trick.
I recognize what I just did.
All right. So as you guys look around, there is typically residual magic on most things. The magic items that you guys might have on you pings in your visions. Nothing else does. Okay. I would like to just make sure that everyone understands, and this may or may not be seen as meta knowledge. Detect magic does not detect the magic on anything not visible.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Didn't know.
As it says, if you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area. So you can sense magic, but you can't actually see the auras. Okay.
So it's not like an X-ray. It just, if it's something you can see, you can then.
Yeah. But you can still sense the presence of the magic. Now, all around you, everything feels magical. There's definitely a power of magic here. You begin working your way through. You follow the tracks. You head towards the ziggurat. They seem to be converging. The tracks are headed and centralized around this ziggurat. And there's definitely some magical aura around here, but you can't see the object or anything that would be giving it off, so you can't tell what kind of magic is there.
I'm curious, the map that we see, what's the scale there? Because I see the squares aren't quite lined up right. So, because I want to eventually cast my Eyes of the Grave to see if we get a concentration of undead, but I want to make sure we're in, I'm not blowing it when there's not much.
Yeah, this is mostly just, this is rough.
Yeah.
Best approximation as I could create.
Okay.
We would play fast and loose if there were any slight issues towards
Yeah. Well, I think since everything's converging, I am going to cast that at least once now just to see if there's any undead. It's a 60-foot radius, not behind total concealment, and
total concealment.
or isn't behind total cover and not protected from divination magic. So anything that doesn't fit into those two things. If it's undead, I know the location of it, but not anything else about it. Just that there is an undead in that spot.
You don't sense any undead according to
All
those
right.
stipulations.
All right.
As you guys
No.
start coming closer to the ziggurat and you get to the base of it, the height of this thing is close to about 50 foot above you. You all now start hearing a faint sound just playing and coming down from there. And if I got the volumes right,
Carmen.
did you guys hear that? Okay. It sounds like someone's playing music.
No. Ow.
I thought it was green sleeves for a moment. on the harmonica.
Carmen, what instrument?
What instrument would that be? Would I have to roll for that? I couldn't hear it.
What is... roll a music theory check.
If we go meta, I can definitely help you with that.
Just some intelligence-based skill check.
I'll do a history.
Yeah.
I'll do a history.
Definitely a harmonica. Something simple,
Harmonica.
something small that someone's playing.
So there are harmonicas in Schultz.
Yep.
That's
There
good
is
to know.
at least one.
At
In
least one.
Monica and Charles.
Is there a Cholton Bob Dylan somewhere that we can find?
So this sound seems to be coming from the top of the ziggurat, but you don't see anything up there.
I touch the ziggurat just because it looks interesting.
Okay. You're casting mage armor?
Sorry, I'm fixing it. That's from earlier. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So you touch it, it feels, and it's giving off powerful magical aura.
Ooh, tingly.
It is. It sends the hair on the back of your neck just going up.
It's like
Her
Her
short
fingers.
hair just goes.
Fingers.
Yep, static energy. Okay. As you touch it, a voice calls down to you. You all all right down there?
Yes, thank you for asking.
Utah?
So, what you doing down there?
What you doing up there?
Excuse me, girl, but I asked first.
You did. Hello.
Can we see where this voice is coming from?
It's coming from the top of the ziggurat, but you can't see the source of it.
Okay.
How tall is the ziggurat, like from us standing at the bottom?
50 foot
Sorry?
above your car.
50 foot?
50 foot.
Okay.
It is
Had to-
common to
had to have
answer a
learned.
question when we can see the person we are addressing.
I find I'd prefer to be able to get a measure of someone before I get to show him myself. So, who are you?
How do you measure me when you are so far away?
Please excuse these ones. They don't get out much. I am Grigori. These are my compatriots, and we are here seeking an audience with the inhabitants of Mesro.
Well, I'm the only inhabitant here.
Perfect. You're exactly who we want to talk to. May we come up?
Y'all don't need an audience with me. Go, move along.
Well, why not?
Move along. Because I don't want an audience with you.
Oh, well, that's fair enough. Question: have you seen anyone wandering around here with red robes on?
Why?
We're looking for people with red robes. I thought they were in Mesro. So I'm seeking an audience with someone in Mesro to tell me where people with red robes are. Is that you,
Boys.
sir?
Don't get short with him.
No, this is Peter. He seems very straight to the point. Wouldn't want to waste his time.
I don't think I like you.
That's a
None of
common
us really do.
crime name.
That's nothing new. Yeah, don't worry about that.
That's not true. I like you, Grigori.
She does. She does.
What is that
a little
supposed to mean?
weird.
Tao will remember this.
If I answer your questions, will you leave me alone?
Probably.
Alright. A couple of red folk came by. They left. That's it.
Can I ask you when they came by and which way they were going?
Well,
That way, this way, that way. Cardinal directions.
that way.
That way.
And you realize the invisible person
Yeah, so
can't
I-
point the
I
direction.
can't see which way.
Well, they came by. I was following them,
hmm
trying to figure out why they were here,
As one does.
why they were bothering me.
That's right.
This is my city.
hmm
I claimed it.
That's
I
right.
did. I took it from the lizard folk. You know, those lizard folk, they like to keep a few tricks up their sleeves, and I had to think really hard to deal with their traps. in a natural manner, because I didn't want to trip him off.
Right. Well, you wouldn't.
Of course. Well, I got rid of the lizard folk, dealt with them, and now I'm here.
Well, how'd you get rid of all the lizard folk? That's quite a tale, friend.
Well, that's a long time. That'll take you a while to tell you, but I don't care to tell you.
While they're chatting, I would like to send my familiar up and shift my senses so I can see the speaker on the top.
Is your familiar capable of seeing things that are invisible?
Nope.
Then you do not see the speaker on top.
All right.
I like you.
Yeah.
I can't see you. You sound like, you know what? You sound like a guy that gets stuff done. You really do.
Well, I did. But I'm done.
Are you done? I mean, we're passing by. We appreciate any help. I can play you a little song. You know, you've probably been here on your own for a while. That must be lonely.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage because of everyone's contribution thus far.
Okay.
I just want to be left alone. The red folk you were looking for, they came by, and then they disappeared. I think that they're actually above the city.
What?
Bro,
I know.
Greco
right?
looks up.
Gregoria looks straight up.
Well, I can't see them, and I'm invisible too. Don't you think I would have tried that?
Well, being...
So I told you where the folk are that you wanted. Well, go on. Go on now.
But how do we get up?
I don't know. Fly. Can't you
Fair
fly?
enough. It's a little harder for some of us than others.
Can you fly?
No, you said, you said they walked a certain way and then disappeared. Did they disappear? Did they fly away? I just need to know which way to go to chase these guys.
Well, they came here.
Right.
From outside.
Right.
And then they went up.
Up the ziggurat?
No, I mean they flew.
Oh, they flew.
They flew.
Oh.
Yeah.
With wings or with
They flew
magical
up there. Gregori's going to point, and he can't see him, but he's going to do the classic look over there bit, right? He flew up there, and then I'm casting invisibility on myself. Hoping that he's looking away. And then I disappear.
And then you disappear. All right.
I'm walking up to the top of the ziggurat.
Okay. You can't see him. Eventually you get to the top and you'll kick him by accident because he's sat right there on the top. You'll hear a ow, and the temperature in the immediate vicinity drops by 20 degrees.
Following the advice of my friend Averine, I pull a bag of flour out of my bag and sprinkle it all over the both of us.
effective?
Because this is why I got rid of the sea invisibility.
Why dispel magic when you could just have a bag of flour?
The flour drips down, and you see a very angry, bearded snowman, effectively. With the flour.
Can we see this from the bottom, like with how high up they are?
You can see the flour just. It's not. It's like a bag of flour. How big's
Like
the bag?
1 pound.
Okay, you've got enough to be able to get his head and shoulders.
Right, it's
Nothing
like,
else.
yeah, right.
Right.
Well, it's going to hit me too.
So you'll see just long, now white hair, with facial hair and pale, straight skin, fairly thin-looking guy. By the way that his shoulders and his head stand, He's actually looks fairly youthful. Maybe 30 something in human years, if he's a human. The flower isn't enough detail on the ears or anything to be able to tell whether or not he's elven or human, but he's definitely a humanoid.
Do I have any alcohol on me?
Probably.
So I'll pull out a flask and say, sorry about that. Here. I'll take some first and then pass it to him because it's not poisoned.
I knew a guy with horns once,
He was probably a jerk.
and I didn't expect him that time either. Sorry. Alright,
Can't say I didn't try.
you found me. What do you
Yeah.
want? I told you everything you wanted to know. The red people, they went straight up. I can't see invisibility, and I don't really care to go up. They're not here.
What are you doing here, friend? Abandoned city. Nobody's here.
I was trying to get some peace and quiet, but that didn't happen.
Oh,
Oh,
it's not.
Can we all
I'm going to slowly start to approach. Yeah, I'm going to start to approach.
Yeah, likewise.
You all get closer. The flower is great, but and the flower disappears. The invisibility on him also disappears, and a tall, muscular-looking individual, ranger-like clothing, is sat at the top of the ziggurat, feet over the edge of the top step.
Is he wearing a ring?
Arms are folded.
Is he attractive?
Do we all feel the coldness now that Grigori felt? That,
There was
is
a
it
wave
so
of cool
cold?
air that just
yeah.
Is he attractive?
exploded out away from him.
Not so bad that I require like a survival
No.
check. All right. Actually, on a hot day, it's quite refreshing.
Yeah. But don't you could get addicted to it. So
Is that a problem for you, friend?
no. I'm good.
Go ahead.
So I'm here because I just wanted some peace and quiet. That's what I told you. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You're so much better looking when you're not. Well, you're so much better looking now till we can actually look at you for a start. I like you more.
You're pretty good looking. Hi, I'm Zola.
I give a look to Tower and Greco like, humans. You're looking human.
There's all hair on them. I don't get it.
He flips his shoulder length mane. Well, all right. You found me. So look, what do I have to do to get you to leave me alone?
Well, if nobody else. Ooh, okay. We ran into some ice giants on the way here. They said that they were looking for, I believe you, and we should warn you. They're not very far away. They're only maybe like two days that way.
Ice giants, you say?
Yes, ice giants. That's what they're called, right?
At least 3 of them. They were downright vicious.
They're not now.
Fucking me, boy.
No, I just find that it is appropriate to adopt the syncopation of the people I'm.
This is going to be one of those days.
Yes, sir.
Well, if they're coming for me, I should probably leave.
I agree, and I wanted to tell you that Nyanzaru is able and willing to protect you.
No, it ain't.
What? Why?
We know a merchant prince there. Big deal.
I've been able to keep myself to myself for a while now. Don't know how you found me. That was a bit of annoyance, but I'll be fine by myself.
You
I'll go off
decided
and
to ask us what our day was doing. That is how we found you.
yeah, but you're coming up to my spot.
We were looking for the red priests.
We didn't know you were there.
Dang it. Well, that's kind of
And
the port. The city might be able to protect me, but could they protect themselves from me? That's why I don't go. I ain't going down there.
I think that on this entire island, the best chance you are going to have for people that can protect you and them against you is still going to be there.
Or at the very least, this friend we know, she's got a real nice house. She can set aside a place. No one will bother you.
Yes.
Alone.
It even has a trough to drink out of.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Well, I can make myself a trough.
If you're gonna leave anyways, then just come with us, check it out, and if it's not up to snuff and if you don't like it, you can leave again. But you already said that you're going to leave. So there's a perfectly good place right there where everybody's up to speed and want to help.
Well, I'd do that. I would go with you. But you said frost giants managed to find me all the way down in here. From all the way up there.
I mean,
If they can do that, anyone can find me anywhere. The last thing I want is people to be caught in the crossfire. Least of all, you folk.
That's very kind of you. I
you know why they're after you? Why people be hunting you down? You say you gotta stay away because there's all sorts of problems chasing you.
I don't know why they're hunting me. They just like me, I suppose. I'm a likable person.
That's certainly true. Drink?
Did you put anything in it?
Nope. Just alcohol.
He's gonna roll an inside check on you. He believes you.
If I had thought better, I would have put my serum of truth in there, but I didn't.
When he drinks, do we see a ring?
Yes. But not only did you see a ring on his index finger, you saw a series of names tattooed on all of the rest of his fingers. And just wanted to say thank you, Game Drunks OFC, for following us. Thank you very much for joining us today. So you see a gold band ring around his front finger, and the roll a perception check for me as you guys are looking for it. Oh yeah. Keep forgetting, I've got to control your character sheet.
One computer. Sorry.
Greco sees nothing. Just has his eyes closed.
All right. I'll take your passive at least as minimum. All right. Anyone that got a 15 or higher, which includes their passives, will notice that the gold ring is slightly tarnished. And at first it looks like it's just the gold is worn off, but it's actually frost crystals that have grown around the edge of the ring. The rest are names tattooed onto his knuckles in common. Best you can guess is well, it's difficult to see, but it's definitely 3 names.
Oh, I need to get closer up with those names.
Did I get the names with my perception of 26?
26. You didn't get the names because they are wrapped around, but you did get a sense, because of how common works with the lettering and things like that, you can at least sense that one of the 3 has a bit more prominence than the others. The ink is a little bit larger. It's definitely a feminine name. And the other 2 are smaller, a little bit tighter and harder to be able to see.
Where are you? No, go on.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, after you.
I was gonna ask. So you say they found you down here. So where are you from? Are you from up north, like me?
What year is it?
This
It's
year.
your D&D trivia.
1504?
1504.
Roughly.
Yeah.
It's
Roughly.
after the 1500s.
Yes.
Just after the turn of the century. Okay. Well. Huh. Well, the place I'm from ain't around no more. But it was up north. I think it's near what you would call Waterdeep now.
Oh.
So I'm up there. But it's been a long time since I've been down there. I've been here for 300 years.
300 years.
Yeah.
Wow, you're looking good for 300.
Thank you.
You're looking very good for 300, in fact.
Were you here back before the whole undead business going on?
No.
Okay. Because you said you've been about in the jungles quite a bit. You've been around. I was wondering if you could tell us about what's around here in Mesro. Because we got to travel a bit, and I don't want to get jumped by nothing.
Greco, he was definitely lying when he said no.
I don't know if you're telling us the whole truth about not being here before the undead were here. And their presence is somewhat tied to why we are here. So
Well,
maybe we
all
have...
right, yeah. I'll tell you everything I know if you tell me what you're doing here and why you're looking for the Red Wizards.
No, we never said we were looking for the Red Wizards, just people in red cloaks. So thanks for that information, that they actually were here. It's appreciated because it does help us out.
Though, to be fair, people in red robes flying into the sky, they're probably wizards.
Probably wizards.
Oh, yes, but lowercase red wizard, capital red wizard. Anyway. I'm actually drawing a blank personally. What we wanted the Red Wizards for specifically.
Okay. I can take this.
Yeah, sorry.
If okay, we were in Baldur's Gate, and a lich materialized in an alley and killed one of my customers. And it being linked to Chult, we are concerned about Chult, very concerned about Chult, and we are trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. Since then, we found out that a darkness is slowly consuming everything. Well, not everything. All the people that have been resurrected, starting at Chult and then radiating outward. Baldur's Gate apparently has been showing signs. So we're just trying to get to the bottom of this, and if we can have a hand in putting a stop to it, that would be great.
You know anything about that?
I don't know nothing about that. But if you're telling me the people who have died before and been resurrected are now getting sick,
Yes,
well,
that's what
I
we're saying.
died before. I ain't sick.
Well, you're also 300 years old, and that's clearly you're an exception to this rule, for whatever reason.
I'm an exceptional fella.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you are.
Clearly.
I'm going to make sure I'm standing a little bit closer than Zola is.
So why did you lie about being here when the undead took over?
I wasn't here when the undead came.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to be here. But I wasn't.
Okay. Well.
I lost someone.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I've been waiting for him. Waiting for him to come back. I haven't. That's why I'm here.
Can we
What was
help
her
you?
name?
Her name?
What was her name, friend? I
Check my notes.
presume it was a she.
Yep. It was my old lady, Alessandra. Oh, she was a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Would that name match the close letters I can see on this big tattoo?
You definitely see Lisa, so it makes sense that Alessandra would be the name that is attached to it.
And this Alessandra, you're waiting for her. Was there a planned rendezvous, or are you just waiting out your days at the top of the ziggurat until you can reunite with her in the beyond?
You know, a part of me hopes that she would just come back, that she would just appear like you appeared. But I have to be true to myself. I'm just waiting for the day when I get to go with her.
Well, strange things are afoot when it comes to people dying. And what we are attempting to do may correct what's wrong with that. And so if you have a means for us to help us get what we need, then we might be able to help you get back in touch with your lost Alessandra. Our goals are somewhat aligned.
Greco here's a holy man. I'd believe him.
Yes.
Don't believe
Actually,
me, but you can believe him.
You may recognize the symbol of Kalimvor as a man from the northern continent. And if there's one thing we're dedicated to, it's undoing the undeath. And the plague here is clearly one that needs some undoing.
I know of Kalimvor. Bit stuck up.
It's gods, aren't they always?
Good guy, though. Good guy. You can always count on him being fair.
Yeah. Well, actually, at your age, have you met him? He ascended to godhood in a somewhat non-traditional manner.
I know of him. I've had dealings with people who have had dealings with people who know him.
Very well.
All right. So, if the giants are searching after me, here is not the place where I want to go down on that. Don't want to do that. But you're here looking for them red wizards, right?
Right.
Yes.
Well, let's go get them.
All right. I like
Great.
this gusto.
All right. I help you. I help you find your red wizards. And you all trust me to leave me alone. Let me rest out the rest of my days here waiting for my beloved.
Sounds like a deal.
Hang on. Has he told us his name yet?
Nope.
Okay. I know that you say that you don't want to put people in danger by going to Nyanzaru. However, Nyanzaru has people who have specifically lived their entire lives waiting for something like this to happen. We're ready. We're ready to harbor you and what's going on with this. Please come with us after we no longer need to be here.
Roll a persuasion check.
I'll put a little faith in you if you'll put a little faith in us.
Rolling well today.
All right. I'll see your place. I'll go to Port Nyanzaru.
If you get there and it stinks, you don't have to stay.
All right.
Just give us a chance.
Sir,
Yep.
my name is Averine Amblecrown.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure meeting you.
You said that you are afeard of heading into this Port Nyanzaru because you weren't sure what they could do to protect themselves from you. Now that we're allies against the Red Wizards, perhaps you want to tell us what we need to protect ourselves against.
He starts sizing you all up.
Is this where you measure us?
This is where I measure you. With my eye. I measure you. I am a bearer of great and powerful curse. And while I bear it, all those around me tend to get hurt. And I do my best to make sure that I do not hurt anyone who is innocent. Are you innocent?
Probably not.
See, probably not. So I think you'll be fine. Well, no, you probably won't be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I do my best. Unfortunately, the great and powerful curse that's upon me is sometimes a bit too strong. And it might bring out some primal urges. Need to really take over. And in those situations, it would be best to step away and give me my space. I'll calm down, and we'll be good to go.
Okay, but don't run off on us. We can find you.
I'm good.
In our party here, there are a number of us who are familiar with the arcane. Perhaps you can share with us the source of your curse, and maybe together we can put our heads together to solve it.
Roll a persuasion check.
You'll never find a smarter wizard than Averine here.
Right?
Oh, wait. Oh, well, I rolled it. Never mind.
Just know that I carry something that is a great burden. That's all you need to know. The less you know about it, the safer you are. The last thing I need is for you or you to get tempted to take the thing. So the less you know about it, the better.
So it's a thing.
Inside check. Otherwise, you're inside. There it is.
That's a good point. I probably don't want to know.
You really
dangerous.
want to know.
Okay.
Sir, I beg to differ. Ignorance is never the answer to any problem.
All right. If we're to be going together for a time, I'll tell you. But I'll warn you. It's your own downfall if you fall down.
Noted.
Okay? It's this here ring. And he closes his fist as soon as he points it out. Last thing he wants is a mage hand to take it off of him. I found the ring here in Chult. I don't know who made it. I don't know why. But the ring has incredible power. But that power can corrupt. Now, I've been able to keep my wits about me and stay the good man that I am. I'm a pretty good man.
Do you, if it's cursed, do you have to like wear it? Can you just hold on to it some other way so that the cursed part doesn't hurt you?
It's easier for me to make sure that no one else gets it and is cursed by it.
Well, now you have protection.
Yes.
Sir, I am very well versed in things historical and arcane. Would you mind if I took a closer look at it and used the powers granted through the weave that I may cast a spell of identification to understand its true nature?
As long as it stays on my finger.
This is agreeable to me.
So closes his fist to make sure no one can take it off him. But you can identify his ring, and he will let you do it. It is the Ring of Winter. There's a lot of text. Read it in your own time. There's a lot to it. Basically, as a powerful magical item, it has 12 charges that recharge every day, and you have a series of magical spells that you can cast with it.
So everyone, well, not everyone, but certain people want the ring because they believe it will save them from the death curse. Can I know about that property specifically? How that works?
You can tell from the identifier that this this ring gives its bearer immortality, not by just granting them immortality, they can live for forever, but actually locking them in to the age that they are at. Okay. So you can confirm now that anyone who is currently under the effect of the death curse, if they were to put on this ring, they would be locked at that state, not dying anymore. So they won't get any worse. Now, there's no way to get better from the curse while the curse is still running. But this will stop a person from getting worse. Okay. Hit point maximum does not reduce while you are wearing this ring.
So I share this. I share all the details about the ring with the entire party. Sparing
and
no
he
details.
Seems fascinated in some of the things that you tell him about. Oh, really?
I just you see it locks you in place. So I wager you haven't had to shave in 300 years.
True. That's a good point. Yep. I also haven't had to eat.
Can you eat for fun? Or pleasure, or just not hungry?
I've just not needed to.
Well, you can drink, clearly. You had some of mine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the identifier doesn't tell you anything about any particular curse on the ring. But you can tell that the ring itself is sentient. That much you can tell. The ring has a mind of its own.
The ring, it seems to have its own will. Is that what you refer to in regards to the curse?
Yep.
What does it seek to do?
I have managed to control the beast within, but it is constantly trying to get me to break my morals, hurt the innocent, to harm people, to steal, to do things. Now, it has changed me, I'll admit that. I'm not as lawful as I once was, but I've managed to keep it from making me evil.
In land like Chol, that may be a good thing.
It is a good thing.
I'd like to turn to my brother and poignantly look at him. Like, did you hear that? Did you get all that?
He's kicking the ground.
Yeah, I know. I'll give him a hug. I'm sorry.
Well, so if I can be real clear here, we're gonna go head for Port Nine Zaru, and on the way we're gonna rustle up some red wizards.
We go and rustle up. Oh, good. Yeah. Well, we can go up there right now, if you want.
Can you make us
Yes, let's.
What's your name, by the way? What do we call you?
Why? You can call me whatever you want to call me, little lady.
I would like to call you by your name, since you're familiar with it.
All right. My name is Artus. Artus Simba.
Good to formally actually meet you, Artus.
But you can call me Artus.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yes, I can make you fly. I can make up to 6 people fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Well, I could let you fly. I could stay here.
I could turn into a bear and someone can ride me.
Yeah,
I'm
what
up
if
for that.
we hold on to some
Chago
of us?
jumps forward. Chago.
No, me!
Yeah.
Well, you could also just. Oh, you can't get a fly speed yet, can you? Never
Possibly,
mind.
I have room for 2.
Well, if that's the suggestion, then what he suggests to do is he reaches out a hand towards Zola and suggests, well, if our good friend here, the big guy, the blue one, will turn into a blue bear, I'll fly him. We'll fly together on his back.
Sounds delightful.
Looks around the group.
Can I roll a deception check?
Deception
Yeah.
check? Versus his insight. Because he is interested in the dynamics. He rolls a natural 1.
Blank face.
He's completely oblivious
Nothing away.
to everything. I didn't mean to leave people out. And he'll offer the same thing to Carmen as well. Milady. We good with that? So, fly. And someone who can't fly sits on his back.
Tower will. Are we ready to go?
Yes.
And then I'll form into a brown bear. Can I be a blue brown bear?
I've always imagined that whenever you shift into a brown bear, you take the brown bear form, but unfortunately, you keep the blue fur with the red paws.
Absolutely. Me too.
It's like Beast Boy.
Why not?
Yeah. He suggests riding with one of the ladies because I forgot to count Shargo in the group as well. So
Forgetting
himself and one of the ladies riding on the back of Tower. Everyone else gets a fly spell.
Averine's the lightest, I imagine. So maybe, as I'm having 2 passengers.
Oh, I talked to him about WoTC.
Yeah, Shago's actually probably pretty dense, probably pretty heavy. It's all them muscles.
Oh, Shago's flying.
Shargo can fly. All right.
Well,
So
one of
as
the ladies is
everyone-
joining Artis on the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the ladies. Any one of the 3.
You go,
There are
Carmen.
only
Do you want to talk to him about water?
I'm going.
All right.
I'm on.
So, as the party all suddenly start flying straight up above Mesro, we are going to take a 15-minute break. So,
All right.
thank you for sticking with us so far. During the break, you will see soon a Who's That Monster, this week's Who's That Monster. So, check it out. Write in the chat what you think it is. If you were here last week, you will have seen that creature featured. So, see you all in 15 minutes. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around with us. And the answer to the Who's That Monster is the flying monkey. Last week, the 2 adventurers encountered the witch that had a group of flying monkeys with her. They're terribly cute. They're incredible. If you get into combat with them, they could potentially be very annoying. But they're great. All right, so we will jump right back into where we are. So, our group of adventurers are now joined by the legendary, or at least he believes he's legendary, Artis Simba. His token, so that I can join with the party. Named NPCs. There we go. So, as he casts fly on everyone that needs the fly, and we all begin to head up, you rise up slowly over the course of over a minute or so, and eventually you'll crest through a point in the cloud where it'll be an invisible cloud from when you're underneath, but the moment you pass through it, everything suddenly turns to fog and everything becomes visible. Everything above you had been hidden by some power below. But the moment you start to rise out of this little this fog cloud, you can see above you a series of floating buildings. Each of these small buildings are on top of rocky outcroppings, and they're positioned pretty much right above Mesro, almost as if it was Mesro itself had just been picked up. All of the different ruins and buildings around it looked just like Mesro, but it's different. It's not. It's flying. It's floating. You can see, darting from building to building, are little blurs of red that just fly around, constantly moving.
Like little flashes of red. Is that like little animals that are red, or like full-size wizards in robes at a distance?
Full-size wizards in robes at a distance, moving very quickly.
Great.
Yep. And there's a lot. This is a full city of red wizards of Thay. So, riding on the back of Tower with Carmen in front of him, with his arm around her waist, hand on Tower's scruff of his neck. So, how are we approaching this?
I don't know. I don't think we'd thought that far ahead. I'm gonna hold like the hand. Has he got a hand around my waist and a hand holding on to?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna. Is it with the ring on it?
The ring is on you.
Whoa.
It's a little cool to the touch.
Okay, I'm gonna hold my hand on his hand.
Okay.
And just be like, so, how do you think we should do this? And I'm just gonna feel to make sure I can feel the ring there and just see if I get a sense of what it's like, and not to try and take it, just literally hold his hand. It's more of a.
Okay.
Anyway.
You feel a power and a presence coming from his hand, as well as feeling the cool, like almost like someone had he's just taken his hand off of a really cold drink and puts it up against you, like that kind of cold. But then you feel a presence coming from the ring itself. He suggests, well, when there's a lot of them, it's usually best to just talk our way through.
Okay.
I would prefer not to have to get the blood rising, to get anxious in battle or whatnot. Might be safer.
Okay.
That's just my take on it.
Can we all hear this, or are we like all whoosh through our ears as we're like flying?
You can fly as close to him as he wants. He's talking casually to Carmen as she's right there.
Sure.
Would you rather let, I don't know, who's best to do the talking? Would you rather not do the talking if that keeps you calmer?
I think if I start talking, they might see through any lies that I make, and they might find out who I am. I would prefer not to let them know who I am.
I know that feeling too well. But you're from the same neck of the woods as me, so.
Well. So, how are we doing this? We could just kill them all, but I don't want to. I want to give the innocent, the good ones. I'm sure there's got to be at least one good wizard, right?
Grigori literally laughs out loud.
I look over to Grigori and say, I think it's best that you handle this, but try and be delicate. Delicate. Should we say delicate? I say back to. Yeah, delicate.
Can I look at my character sheet really quick? This is go to my spells. This is gonna matter for a second.
Which spell are you looking at? You don't have many.
Right. It's whether or not I cast Alter Self. I will not. I need that.
What?
I need that second level spell slot. Or Arcanist, think tank. Well, everybody think tank. Just come here. It's like, but particularly Averine and Greco. So This all started with me charging you to come to help us find what happened to my compatriot Sandir. I think we're likely to get answers here. I think if there are a lot of them, it's very foolish for us to try to attack. That is a surefire way for at least one of us to be killed. And for various reasons, I wouldn't like that, as I'm sure none of you would. What do you propose? I would recommend just going up and chatting with them and seeing why they killed Sandir. Maybe they'll be upfront about that. Or perhaps not.
Well, Sandir was one of their number. Certainly they'd like to know what happened to him.
Certainly, however, the thing that killed him was also one of their number.
It's not clear which they held more dear.
I think going through with words before blades is our best bet. Although I am not one for talking, and I personally am not one for talking to these types. Consorting with liches and the like is not something that I could abide. But
well, they are liches or worshipper of liches. So if each of you has something to prepare in that vein, please do so.
Didn't these fellas do something to a town you cared about, Greco?
They did. And although I would not like to see, as our friend here has so delicately put it, the good ones perish, I'm not exactly keen on bouncing around what we're there for. I think words are best to get us where we need to go, but we should be prepared to fight, and I know I am prepared to fight.
So if words fail, you prefer action.
Indeed.
Grigori, you were interested in the information that Sandir was supposed to get for you. Is that what we're here for? Do we want to?
We're here to solve Sandir's murder and something more involving what's going on in these lands that I think they are involved in. That additional information, I certainly desire greatly, but not enough to risk my life just for that information.
Well, Grigori, you're here to solve Sandir's murder. I'm here for the Red Wizards.
If words fail, do we fight or flee?
We
ask
fight.
of each of you so we know. Greco has made his will known.
Greco, I
Again,
don't think we could take them. I don't think we could take them all.
Not all of them, but that's why we try to get into at least as much of a situation where we can defend ourselves and then flee. Yes, but fight to flee, I suppose, is the way I'm thinking for this.
You'd like us to fight our way out.
Yes, if we need to.
Right.
That's why you're the words man.
As we're approaching in bear form, can Tower notice any position or structure that would seem somewhat defensible? Be the best place to land.
As in, if you were to get yourselves into it, the best place you could fight from and defend, or the best place that would be the hardest thing for you to break into?
The best place that we could possibly, if we're going to land, the best place that we could see to land and be, if it was going to turn into, if it was going to fall into a fight nearly straight away, we would have a defensive full position. Somewhat defensible.
With the locations that are floating, there are in total 6 floating structures. 5 which appear to be just simple towers, of various different heights and sizes, more or less, but they are tower-like positions, and they are circling around one central point. This central building is a ziggurat that has been picked up.
May I make a proposal? Rather than all of us fly in there and demand information, perhaps one person could go, and if I don't come back, you can either Greco come and rescue me, or if I'm the only one who dies, it cuts our losses.
no, you don't.
No.
You don't get to put yourself at that kind of risk while I'm around. I'm at least going with you, if that is going to be the case.
No, I cast Alter Self and I give myself a red robe, but I keep my demonic appearance. I will be fine. Having
It would
all
not
will
be
make this significantly more difficult.
It would not be that suspicious for a UNT pureblood to be at your side.
And for all respectful
Do I know that?
purposes-
Do I know that?
You can roll some sort of history check.
I'd need your help. Yeah, like, is that actually true, or is she just saying it?
It's actually true,
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
but you might not know that.
Right.
You, I mean, with Yuan-Ti's reputation of being evil, it goes without saying that evil characters with evil characters, sometimes they band together, Suicide
Sure.
Squad and all that.
Right.
You do, however, trust Zola enough to believe her.
Okay. Anyone else want to come to a situation of incredible peril and perhaps certain death?
Nope.
Yes.
Good, thanks.
Dago?
Shh. I am not one for talking,
That is certainly.
but I also do not think I would be very good at pretending to be one of you.
Very good. Anybody have a red robe I can give Zola?
Do I need one?
I mean, doesn't hurt.
I'm just a minion.
The,
All right, fair enough.
the bear is slightly concerned that the spell of flying only lasts a certain amount of time.
The bear will grunt his
Floating in the air.
It's okay, little fella. It's okay. We'll land. We'll be good. Shh. And he is going to roll an animal handling check on you. It's perception. No, animal handling is a wisdom based, isn't it?
Would you handle animal on a
Actually, right.
Be careful.
The wrong way.
Be careful, he's my mate.
Okay, sorry.
Should I roll animal handling?
He likes you. You get advantage.
Okay.
Are we all agreed with this plan then?
So, Zola and Grigori will continue to fly up. They will land on one of these buildings, most likely the central one. It seems to be the more key one to go to. And then you'll talk there.
Are we all agreed with that?
What are we doing?
I'm staying with artists.
Artus suggests we go to one of these towers and we stay at this position because it would float around. Try to stay hidden. Take over this particular pillar if needed.
I know you don't particularly care about me, but we all like Zola. So if problems arise and you see explosions or fireballs, please come and save her as quickly as you can. And if you'll take me along with you, I'd appreciate it.
I'll send Alawando and set him to sit on Grigori's shoulder and direct Alawando to be our eyes and ears so I can report back to everyone else.
Oh, this would be a little easier without Alawando there.
wizards have familiars?
Unless the familiar will do what I say. If there comes a point I have to prove that he's mine and Alawando doesn't obey me, that could be a problem.
Alawando is an intelligent creature. Alawando is an intelligent creature. You can tell him he knows how to roll with the punches, so to speak.
Okay. Can I roll a deception check?
What are you trying to deceive?
Just not let my face show anything. This is not what I had in mind at all.
I am going to whisper that.
Ah.
So, Aveline, go ahead and roll an insight check.
That is great. That should be no problem. Great.
Of course it
So-
would be. Why wouldn't it?
Very, very wise of you to add Alonso. That's a great idea. Yep. All right.
Before we separate, I will hand Goldblum, because Goldblum is still with me, because I didn't
Oh,
leave him on the
no.
ship, to Greco. He's like,
Thank you.
he should be
Imagine
okay
Greco
on his
just,
own, but just don't forget him.
Like this,
Yeah.
floating in the sky. Like,
No, Greco's pretty good with animals, so he'll be fine.
So the two of you with Alawando fly off towards the central point. Everyone else goes to one of the towers. Now, as everyone else heads up to this tower, the pace kind of picks up a little bit as you're anticipating some sort of battle. You get to that tower, and very quickly you'll see that the stone structure, though it's old, has been reinforced from the inside outwards. So they've taken old ruins and then built something inside of it. The inside structure is fairly simple. It's definitely a watchtower of situation, but there's a series of discs that constantly float up and down that are being used to help move from elevation to elevation. As because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people going to this tower. It's not going to be much problem for you guys to take over the tower as one individual slowly drops down, begins to question you, and Artus reaches forward with his hand. There's a wave of cold energy that Carmen feels, and the guy turns to ice instantly.
Wow. That was
That was-
amazing.
That was
And then
very
you
cool.
see just
Oh, it's okay. No, it's okay.
that was,
It's okay.
that was okay. Just a bit of a headache is all.
Okay.
Good.
You
Alright.
stroked his arm a bit.
He'll be good.
Okay.
But turn to ice. Okay. You guys take over this place. You notice that they have been using these discs in a clever mechanism to help assist with the motion between the buildings. You learn very quickly that the wizards are not flying from building to building. That would waste so much magic. They're actually jumping really far with help of these discs, springboarding them to fly,
That's
jump
neat.
over.
Nice.
Point to point. And you now have full control over one of those points, one of those 5 points around the central tower. The two of you float towards this, and you see as you begin to make your way the same sort of thing. The way that these guys are moving from tower to center to tower and back and forth is in an arc motion, as if they were just jumping rather than flying. And you'll see little landing points and jump off points around the base of this ziggurat. But there is a main entrance that is rather large and surrounded by enormous statues of a tall, thin, skeletal, practically individual. Roll a history check, both of you, to see if you've ever heard of this person, as it is an image of an individual man. Okay. You both recognize it with stories, and you'll notice that there are carvings around the area that seem to pay homage to the individual that these are worshipping. This is a shrine to I probably pronounced that wrong. Bear with me 1 second.
So Zola, 2 questions. 1, do we land and ask for an audience, or land and walk in like we own the place?
Walk in like you own the place.
if you're going to be with me on this, I need to know what you're comfortable with, because a convincing lie has to be comfortable.
I'd be comfortable with both because I am very good at playing a subservient position,
Very
that's
good.
what I would be.
This is a shrine to Zaz Tam, the current ruler of Thay, and next to the legendary Acererak, the most dangerous lich on the known world. This is his place. He might
I
not
say
be
we kill him.
dedicated to him.
Sure. Second thing, Zola. You remember our contract?
Mhm.
Trust me to keep it?
Mhm.
Then just go along with whatever happens, okay?
You got it.
Famous last words.
As soon as you guys, you're immediately accosted by a group of mages that approach you with staffs out, hands up high, and shouting at you in common. Who are you and what are you doing here?
Can I ask one thing about the Wizards of Thay?
Yep.
So the power one that comes from, would I know if that's tied to like the elemental plane or the hells, or where it comes from? As in, would I know it would be better to respond in a different language than common?
So you would, like, common would be fine.
Sure.
And it wouldn't be better to speak with another language unless you're going to speak in Thayan.
Okay.
But there are so many red wizards that work outside that they speak common.
Very well.
Okay? What you would know is that with the red wizards of Thayan, they specialize in a particular kind of magic. And you can tell because that arcane school is usually tattooed on their forehead. And so anyone that has the tattoo is a certain level of arcanist within the red wizards world. All of these guards that have approached you all come up evocation magic symbols in their foreheads.
If I knew that beforehand when I did Alter Self, could I put a symbol on my head?
Yes. Which school of magic would you put on? You get to pick one.
What's the one for elemental stuff?
Evocation. Things like fireball and...
I do divination.
You do divination?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Fair enough. Then as you approach, who are you and what are you doing?
My name is Sandiri, and this is my friend, Luckle. We have information for the would I know what wizard word, like not the High Magistrate or the High Chancellor, like whatever, not the highest guy, but like an important fellow in just the hierarchy. The Chancellor.
Chancellor would be as good a word as anything.
We come with a message for the Chancellor.
Okay, roll a deception check. 23. Okay. And Zola, you're staying quiet throughout this? Okay, all right, fine. So you will come under his rolls. If he rolls badly, then you're rolling badly. Unless you specifically say you want to roll, okay? Okay. Cool. Very well. Very well. Follow. And he leads you into the ziggurat proper. As you begin to work your way through, the way in which the building is shaped is meant to make you feel like you're getting smaller and smaller as the brick walls, they start increasing the size of the bricks the further in you go, just to make you feel like you're shrinking down, till you finally break out of the door and you're in this enormous inner chamber that has a big throne in the center. The throne is floating about 20 foot off the ground of this, and people are just communicating and making deals and talking to one another. It's a meeting point of sorts, and there are people doing strategic decisions and talking. There's a huge map on the floor in front of the throne, and a rather large looking individual. Half his face is completely rotted away. Definitely in the presence of a lich.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So
is the lich the one they're leading you up to, or is it another fellow there?
He's leading you straight up to the lich.
it goes without saying we're keeping track of how he came in, right?
Yep.
Whew. This ain't been a terrible idea. As we approach the map, I say to Zola, in a normal tone of voice, you don't need to hear this, stay here, but you're obviously close enough she could look at the map.
Okay. All right.
And then go up to the Lich, I guess.
Right. As you step up to the Lich, you feel the air get colder, but in a different way than being around Artus. The air almost feels like it's necrotic, it's empty, it's being fed on, this whole area. So everything, the life is taken away rather than just the temperature as you get closer and closer to him. Zola, you're able to see that this map is a bit of an interactive magical one that they've set up that does have key points that are flaring up and shining. The key points include, as best guess, Port 9 Zaro. There are a lot of lights over Mesro. Kind of makes sense that it's here. But also quite a few in the central portion, like in the middle of Chult, dotted around. You don't know enough about the jungles of Chult to be able to identify the locations that these are marked around, but you know that they are somewhere around the center, closely gathered towards the Aldani Basin at best guess. Okay? All right. As you approach, voice speaks to you audibly and in the back of your mind, because he wants to be cool. Speak. Tell me what you have to know.
I have been on a mission to find out how our plans fare down below in Chult and elsewhere. Though I do not know all the details, as expected, those who die do not come back. Those who have already died waste away until their souls are left them. Unsurprisingly, people are trying to solve the riddle of why our plans are in motion, and there is rumor of at least one relic that can prevent death and stave off the loss of a soul, somewhere around the region of Mesro. Multiple adventurers and folk from as far north as Baldur's Great Gate and beyond seek that item.
So, what you're telling me is that people have found a way to protect themselves from the curse.
Despite our best hopes, yes. At least one such magical item. I and my associates are endeavoring to see if any such more exist. We can't confirm that it's real. It may simply be myth and legend.
And of course, our plans require everyone to be succumbing to this curse. So we can't have them dying. We can't have them saving themselves.
Perfect. Exactly not.
Right. Who are you? And that's a very good disguise, but come on, be upfront with me.
I dispel it immediately. My name is Grigori.
Welcome, Grigori. And why are you trying to convince me you're one of my men? Tell me now, or I will kill you.
Oh, it's quite simple. I have a friend who died recently, who had some research I was looking for, specifically regarding the nine hells, the natures of some souls, the accumulation of power, things with which you are familiar. While I've not had the opportunity myself to meet the legendary Red Wizards of Thay, I felt that if I could prove myself and provide certain information, you might allow me to join your ranks.
Well, since you are investigating us, perhaps I can check your knowledge of us.
Certainly.
So, Grigori, tell me, what do you know about liches?
Beyond the normal, I presume.
How does a lich remain alive?
Can Grigori roll an insight check? Because Matthew doesn't know. Not an insight check.
History
I guess
check.
what the history check.
Okay. Grigori would know that a lich requires souls to feed on to be able to stay somewhat human.
A lich requires souls to feed on. Different liches have different methods.
Right.
I, for example, have no idea of yourself. What would be the right word? My lord.
So, if a lich, like myself,
Indeed.
requires souls, and there is a curse that strips the souls from people upon death and removes them, what do I get out of that?
Gotta think.
I'll tell you. Nothing. And that is the problem. That is the reason why I'm considering not killing you right now. Is because while this blasted curse is around, I cannot feed. And you happen to come telling me that there is a way to avoid the curse.
For only one. Perhaps
all
more.
I care about is one. So, where is this particular magical item?
The ring? It's rumored to be around the ruins of Mesro, below us.
Oh, interesting. So it's a ring. There is a magical ring somewhere within the vicinity of here that has the location. Okay.
So I've been told.
So you've been told. Okay. Any chance you might know the name of this ring?
The name of the ring?
Yes. The item.
So, magical ring. It's rumored to give off an aura of cold.
Okay. Or I'll call it. That could help.
That
Do
is
you know
all I
who's bearing this ring?
Lyra Portier of the North said it was some fellow who likes to keep to himself, some sort of hermit who has a lizard man accompanying him.
Okay. That's very interesting stuff. And
If I could acquire this ring for you, would that curry enough favor so that I might join the Wizards of Thay?
I like you. Yes. Get me this ring, and you will have access to our initiations.
Oh. May I don't wish to tire you, my liege.
Mhm.
May I ask one of your subordinates for some additional information that may help me going forward?
Of course. But until you bring me this ring, your friend there that's looking at my map will stay in my custody.
She's my guide.
Well, that's a shame.
Perhaps we can make a deal.
This is the deal.
Hmm.
I don't kill you. You go with your life, collect this ring. I hold your friend here as collateral. And upon providing me the ring, you have your life back and your friend.
I don't care about her. She's a lackey. And if you kill her, you don't get her soul. She would help me find the ring as she's a guide to the Jolton land. But beyond that, I have no need for her. She's not sufficient leverage for you. A deal, however, and you may be familiar with my visage, a deal. Always be.
What sort of deal do you propose then, fiend?
I bring you the ring.
Okay.
In exchange, I have access to the initiation of the knowledge of Thay.
Mhm.
I understand, however, that you wish to have some sort of collateral. How about this? I presume the Wizards of Thay make a pledge for their souls. If they die in your service, you feed on their souls.
Of course.
Perhaps we can go halfway on the initiation. I pledge you my soul. In the event I don't return, but the matter is resolved, such that the soul could come to you at a later date, you can claim my soul then.
But should you fail, not return, and die, and your soul is taken by the soulmonger, I do not get to claim your soul.
Well, this is why I asked to bother one of your underlings regarding. This is why I asked to borrow one of your underlings regarding the soulmonger. Perhaps if I understood it better, I could make a better deal with you. What could you tell me about the soulmonger?
There are factions among factions. You must understand this.
Indeed.
And while I can understand the desire to craft such a machine, I must admit some individuals, not myself or my people, were foolish enough to go along with it and create this machine. This soulmonger, whilst active, will trap the souls of all who have died or who die whilst on the material plane. Anyone who has died previously and been resurrected, their soul will slowly be eaten away until it is consumed by the soulmonger. Then every day that passes, one of the souls trapped within the machine is fed to a creature. That creature, once it has fed on enough souls, will attain godhood status. Now, as much as I understand, as much as anyone else, the desire for God-like power, I myself have similar sort of power. I could snap my finger and you would literally die right now. And he does. He snaps his finger and the wizard next to you dies.
Not a negative look. Just a passing glance of disinterest, and then just back to it.
Just turns into dust and floats away.
Only a deception check.
If I see that, I'm gonna jump. Like, ugh.
So you see,
I'm clearly a little concerned, I guess.
yeah,
with
you're,
that
you're
roll.
clearly
Sure.
a little concerned. As this lich who just, without needing verbal components, cast Power Word Kill, which is a verbal spell.
Sure.
While this machine is active, me and my people cannot feed. So this sect of wizards that broke off and crafted this machine, while they have been dealt with, the location of the machine is currently unknown. Do you think you might be able to find this machine?
I think to curry your favor, I could do most anything.
Good. All right. So, you find the machine. I don't kill you.
Excellent. I find the ring. You give me the initiation to the Order of Thay.
Of course. He grabs your hand. In that moment, a surge of arcane energy comes off of the hand as a deal is made and locked in arcane power. Your soul is now forfeit.
Hold on. The soul wasn't part of that. Okay, it's done.
Okay.
We shook.
You did say that your soul would be...
Well, but then we redid the deal. But okay, my soul's forfeit.
And
Sure.
the verbiage was, if I find the ring, I get to join. He's already found it, so he didn't say he has to return it to him when they made the deal.
Now, your friend there can go with you, but I will be watching you.
I would expect nothing less.
Then get out of my sight.
Low bow. Off we go. Come along. Walk out calmly. Can I do another deception check to see if my legs are knocking together or not?
You do well this time.
All right.
You managed to hold yourself together. So from that quick interchange, you know a couple things. Do not annoy this guy. The Soulmonger is a machine that the Red Wizards did make, but not all Red Wizards are involved. It is somewhere in Chult, but the Red Wizards don't know where.
As we walk out, Grigori is more or less going to say to Zola, servant, fetch our things and meet me half a mile west of Port Castigliar with our belongings as soon as you can.
Permission to speak freely?
Certainly.
I don't like the idea of you going off on your own, sir.
I have things to do, and besides, people might be watching.
What about the pteranodons and the T-Rexes?
Meet me outside of Port Castigliar. Or rather, meet me outside Mesro. How's that? Tonight. With our baggage. And then Grigori flies off. How much time's left on the hour?
Maybe 20 minutes.
Like straight to the ground.
Straight to the ground. Right. So where are you going?
I'm gonna land in Mesro. I'm gonna go to where I told Zola to meet me, and then I'm gonna pray that I don't get killed in the jungle.
Okay. By yourself.
By myself.
Okay. Zola, what are you doing?
I am going to try out this amazing trampoline system.
Okay. So you go up and roll a dexterity-based skill check as you step up. Do it. 13. Okay, not bad. You're a bit shaking. You end up falling prone as you hit the land. But which of the 5 do you go to?
I'll just start
Onto
with
the pentagram, north and around.
I'll start with the left and then just keep going.
Okay. Then I'm going to roll a d5. Okay. You jump to the one to the left. It's not quite the one. You look, there are a lot of red wizards, and they look at you a little bit concerned. You're alone. Where's your handler?
I know I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So.
Do you go clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Anti-clockwise.
Okay. You jump, roll another acrobatics check. This time you land it perfectly, right in front of your party.
Hey!
Oh, I should say the
Alawando.
Alawando went with Zola.
Yeah, how much of that would you have told us, Averine, as we were,
So
as like
Averine
we're
would have
hearing it
seen
through? Yeah.
her. You can do either one, right?
Both.
Both. Okay. So Averine would have seen everything.
I'd be given a play-by-play as it was happening.
Okay.
For that period of time, would that constitute a short rest?
Not a full hour.
Oh, full hour. Okay.
You've still got the fly spell on you to be
All
able
right,
to
thanks.
So fine.
Okay.
We gotta get out of here.
How long do you have?
None. No time.
Okay.
Let's go.
Right.
That was terrifying.
As you guys are headed down, this entire group need to roll stealth checks
Oh no.
to leave a tower and make their way down.
Artie. They know about you.
Well, I'm going to
All
spend
right.
To be clear, they know about the same rumor that Liara had. That's all.
And they know that Liara had the rumor.
Well, sure. But
So-
the Giants had the rumor too.
Just re-roll it.
Zola, you are so sneaky.
I am so serious about this. I'm
Here's the
terrified.
thing,
You
though,
guys have
if
no
Lich
idea.
goes and kills Liara, that actually fulfills a contract for me. So this is okay. he gave that for a reason.
Also, as Zola comes back, Greco's just going to reach into the hood of his cloak of protection to give Goldblum back to her. He had nestled Goldblum in there.
Comfort Dino.
a group, you guys do well enough to be able to get down below the cloud line back to the ruins of Mesro without drawing the attention of the scouts, which is good. It's good. Saves a lot of battles, so well done there. Well done. All right. Now, at the end of that, I would like to give inspiration, DM's inspiration, to Zola and Grigori.
Ooh.
Do with it whatever you wish if you don't already have it. Okay.
Fancy, fancy.
And do it to undo the last half hour.
DM's inspiration just allows you to get advantage on a d20 base roll. So, where are we going? Where's the other one?
Oh, we got to meet up with him back down here. So he's around here somewhere.
Are you?
I landed and headed into the woods. Did I say 3 miles?
You said 3 miles west of Port Castiglia.
Well, but then I corrected and said Mesro. Castiglia
Okay.
is too far. So 3 miles west of Mesro.
All right. Well, let's go.
But I also said you meet me after dropping off the baggage. What they do with that's up to them.
Now, Artus doesn't immediately get off of Tower. Unless Tower shrugs him off. Quite
I was just. We dragged him. He just keep going. He's on that first. He's there.
I'll stay on board as well.
a couple minutes later, about 15, 20 minutes later, the wild shaping starts to die down.
No, I got 2 hours on that.
Oh, you got 2 hours on. Okay, so you're fine.
It's half my level, so an hour. So.
During the travel, Artus will share plenty of stories about Waterdeep from years ago. A long time ago, the stories that he'll share, we'll RP that at another time.
Okay.
He'll be interested in hearing your stories, same deal, at another time. So, we're going westward. What are you doing while you're waiting for them?
I know how dangerous it is, so I'm trying to hang up in a tree, avoid making any noise, and if I see anything dangerous, I try to be quiet, and then if it causes a problem, I just hit it with a fireball.
Okay, then you need to roll a stealth check. Okay. Okay. Nothing seems to happen during the hour that it takes for the party to travel 3 miles to the jungle. Well, it'll take a little bit more as you get further into the jungle. Shargo feels, it starts to get a little bit nervous, a little hesitant as you're headed into the jungle west of this location. If you go any further south, you are leaving the Fort Beluarian controlled zone. And he's a little bit nervous around here. But eventually the party will find you and will meet up. No danger as of right now.
Before anyone can say anything, what did I call Zola earlier?
Lockley? Something like that.
Lockley? Yeah, we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lockley, you brought the rest of the riffraff. Good. Everyone, listen closely. My goals to become a wizard of Thay have thus far proven somewhat successful. By currying some deal or contract, as it were, with hopefully my future lord, we can move forward on this. So, we need...
While you're doing this, I'd like you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
All right.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So we continue on in our plan to fulfill that in order that I can become a Red Wizard of Thay. We need to, I share the information about the Soulmonger. I share what was told. I say it is of utmost importance that we find this machine so that we can destroy it and put things back the way they are for my future master. 1. 2, that information that woman gave us, Liara. Now, I want absolute silence here. I don't want anyone interrupting and ruining what I have to tell you. Nope, hands down. Nothing till later. Be the good lackeys that you are. So, number 2, we need to find this thing that Ms. Portier sent us on. We don't know where it is yet. I know it's around here somewhere. So I want all y'all to leave me alone. Go over there like you do every night. Have your little, I don't know what. Leave me with my thoughts. Figure out how we're going to do this and how we're going to work this out. Now, leave me. Lockley, if I come up with anything interesting, let me know. Good day. Set up camp. And I sit back like you're supposed to make camp for me. And then I sit there off a distance and tell y'all to go over there. And that's that.
I'm going to make a point to wink at Tower after all of that information.
Artus looks confused.
I know you're the dumb one. Don't want to hear it. Just go over there. Lockley will explain it to you. Good day.
Roll either deception or persuasion. Which one do you
Deception.
wanna roll?
Deception.
Okay. You're doing great, by the way.
That's the one.
All right. With that decent, with the nat 20 on the deception, the scrying spell that was watching you during that will end. You have successfully avoided that.
Okay.
So well done. As that ends. Artus is confused, but he'll do as you say, trusting that you have a reason to lie to him, or to suddenly be completely different than you were earlier. Maybe something happened to him while he was there. So everyone starts setting up camp. What are people doing?
I'm going to actually, I can set up tiny huts.
Ooh, magic camp.
Magic camp. So tiny hut will we can all fit in it, and it will last for 8 hours if we need it.
So it creates a 10-foot radius sphere.
Yeah.
And you and up to 10 creatures, I believe.
Yeah.
Can be inside of it.
And as long as I stay in it, it stays south.
Yes. But as long as the only people able to use it are those that are inside the radius as you set it.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
So for Grigori to be able to use it, he's going to have to be within 10 feet of you.
That's a shame.
Let him get his own place. That's fine.
No, lackeys. Set up my tent. The rest of y'all, do what you like.
Okay. So they set up your tent. Artus sets up your tent. Shargo helps. And then everyone gets into your little hut.
Yeah. Night.
So
Don't talk to your betters.
Okay. All right. So the entire party is inside an impenetrable dome.
Sure.
You're outside.
Right. Now, questions about this impenetrable dome. Can you hear what's going on outside? I don't know this spell. Like, you guys in the dome, do you see and hear what's going on outside? What is this dome?
So, a 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration. The spell ends if Carmen leaves the area.
Yeah, persuade him to be in there. Persuade him to be in there.
Why?
Because spells and magical effects can't extend through the dome.
Creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with you. The spell fails if its area includes a larger creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects within the dome, when you cast the spell, can move through it freely. All of the creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it.
Yes.
Set up my tent inside the dome, peasants.
Just
Still won't work.
plumb into the dome.
Well, I have to be in there when it's cast.
Yeah, you have to be in there when
Right.
it's cast.
It's already been cast.
No,
Well,
I will.
No, you're in there yelling at us when she starts casting.
Right. Very good. Very good.
So everyone's inside the. All right.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
if the entire party, except for one person, is under the protective barrier of a hut, I have to throw an encounter.
Absolutely.
But so does this mean like we are, when inside this, as long as it doesn't get dispelled, we're immune from like any kind of attacks or anything like that?
As long as.
Get a long rest.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so nobody has to stay up and take watch. We can just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Grigori should be super happy with this now.
You roll another deception check.
We get an extra hour of sleep.
You're being quite deceptive today.
Right. Today hasn't shook me up at all, but I'm appreciative. I mean, I'm fine, but I'm appreciative.
Not even when he killed the man with his voice.
What?
Not even when he killed the man with the click of his fingers.
I mean, that was a surprise, but yeah, I mean, these things happen when dealing with liches.
Can just do this?
I believe so. Yes. So anyway, but the spell's up, right?
Yeah.
Grigori sits down like really hard. Like needs a minute.
Does he need a drink?
No. So
If you need to
Everine,
leave yourself,
Lola, did
you
you
please do it
discuss
outside.
all of that? Do you all know what happened?
I don't. I
You
couldn't
do.
hear anything.
Oh. So it did.
Oh, Everine, do you mind?
The reason that there is a machine called the Soulmonger that's eating the souls, and that's why the Thayans are here, because they need their souls for their Lich and their Lich God King. I'm not sure if this is the same Lich. It seems like this is a different Lich that killed Sandir. If the Lich that killed Sandir was the one who started this whole mess, then is likely of a different faction than these Red Wizards.
Well, and I doubt that the Lich that killed Sandir started this. The Lich I saw today could have killed Sandir without a knife, without tracking it down to an alley. And whoever started this machine is more powerful than the one I saw today. So I think I think figuring out what happened to Sandir, no offense, he was not a good person. That is not a really big issue right now. Please carry on, Everine. You're doing wonderfully. Thank you.
Well, it sounds like that this soul-eating machine is feeding some other creature, and that other creature is getting powerful through this nourishment. And at some point in the future, these souls will allow this creature to ascend to godhood. It seems like
Using my island for that.
It seems
My
like
island.
it's an undesirable chain of events. But
That is an understatement.
it also seems like this is likely related to the folks who are dying or are re-dying. So if we're able to find this machine, then we don't need to find any other cures for the curse. This is likely to be it.
Right. That sounds like a plan.
On the map that I was able to see, the glowy lights were lighting up. They were moving. I think they were moving.
Mhm.
And I think that they were tracking their people. There were some in Nyanzaru, lots in Mesro, and then there were also a whole bunch in the very middle of the island.
We have a map of Cholt that it has just the outline. It's missing all the stuff in the middle. But if we lay that out, is it like here's some charcoal, just mark out where maybe we don't know where these places are, but you can mark roughly on the map where you saw these people.
I can draw a rough circle.
Sure.
Was this tracking people or tracking their souls?
I don't know. I just figure they're tracking their own.
Well, then we should head to where the biggest concentration is. If this is powerful enough of a machine, then they're probably keeping it very well stocked and very well guarded.
Oh,
The size of the ring corresponds with the amount of dots that you had seen. So there is a large concentration of dots, larger than what you saw in Mesro, in and around the center of the island.
So they're probably looking for stuff around there.
Sure, which means we probably don't need to. Because if they, I mean, look, the wizards are what they are, but they want to destroy the Soulmonger machine. If they destroy it, that's fine. That's one less thing for us to worry about. So if they're there, we probably don't need to be. Right.
So, with that information, what do you guys want to do next? Artus expresses concern that if what you say is true, and there is a machine somewhere in this, he will not hide until that machine is destroyed.
okay.
So if you will have him, he will join you for a time. But if at any point it seems like the presence of the ring is causing more problems than his assistance is providing you help, he will leave. And hopefully that might draw attention away from you. That is what he will do. So there may come a point in the campaign when he just suddenly leaves.
Don't worry, Artis. We took care of those giants like they were a bunch of chumps.
I'm not worried about just the giants. It's everyone else.
If you do separate from us, could you please try Nyanzaru first? Try to seek Xanthi's help. Tell her I sent you. Yes.
She cute?
Yes.
She is about your age.
Doesn't stop her from being cute.
Fair enough. All right.
So we're agreed that we're going to go kill this this machine.
Yes.
Yes, that we are.
Well,
Grigori.
Find out. Go ahead, Evering.
When I was looking through Olowando's eyes, I thought I perceived a pulse of arcane energy transfer from the Lich to yourself. How are you feeling?
Oh, yes. Well, so the Lich can scry on me whenever he wants. You may have noted that I wasn't my usual charming demeanor when we first reunited.
I've
But I treated
detected
you-
no difference.
No difference. Well, Averine, I will chalk that up to some acting on my part. Getting this information was absolutely necessary, and I do not regret that we did it. However, where I go and what I do can be seen and tracked by this Lich. This means that when we are outside of this bubble, you should not tell me anything that is secret or sensitive. This means that when we're outside of this bubble, I will treat you as lackeys, who are simply doing my will, and that I am an acolyte seeking the favor of a Lich in order to join the Red Wizards of Thay. That will be necessary to maintain the rules.
And when the Lich sees that you're traveling with a servant of a god that is almost diametrically opposed to the existence of Liches,
You have a tattoo on your back, and people's reasons are their own. There are
Well-
any number of deals or reasons that a fiend, such as myself, might be able to compel someone to act against their greater interests. That is not the case here, Greco, and if you are uncomfortable with this, I shan't compel you. I will say that I put some of my own skin in the game on this, and if you don't want to be a part of the ruse, that is fine, but I cannot allow anyone to break or disregard the ruse. Such would be unfavorable to my own needs.
Can I cast Grigori, with your permission? May I try to identify whatever effect is upon you to see if I can detect any ways to defeat it?
You're welcome to try, though as a magical deal, I that is literally my expertise. But if you care to try. Although, inside the orb, do magical effects work inside the orb?
Fine.
They work inside, they just can't cast through it.
I understand.
Also, the spell says nothing about audio. Just so you know.
On the scrying?
The dome. Spell effects can't pass through it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that a scry can't hear.
Okay, so to be clear, inside the orb, people can hear us outside the orb.
Yes.
This was all whispered.
And people is the force field it's impenetrable, but is it see-through?
That is up to the person who casts it. They
Yes.
can make it whatever color they want from the outside, but on the inside it looks transparent.
So I can camouflage it.
Yeah, but when scrying have to be on it's like within the like direct location of the individual?
It is
Cast on a
close
thing.
to it. It's cast on a thing, which would be cast on Grigori. And
Yeah.
so a scrying orb would appear near Grigori. Not exactly on him, but near him.
Yeah, but if you
But
couldn't,
that's
if
magical.
you
It
could,
can't come through the
if you
dome.
couldn't connect to him,
Right. It can't come
Correct.
through the dome, but it could sit just outside the dome.
No.
But
But
you could hear
it's
the
like the
conversation.
phone call and not having the phone plugged in, you can't establish the connection.
Yes,
So
you can't start the
create the orb in
connection.
the first
If there
place.
is a connection that's already been established before the spell is cast,
Sure.
then the connection is already there.
Yes.
But if you are in, you feel pretty safe.
Right. And importantly, Zola was there as well. So the rules about not sharing this information goes the same for Zola.
Well,
Because he can scry on Zola or me.
was there a visible scrying orb when the scrying was happening earlier?
It's only visible to those who can see invisible things.
Okay.
My identify spell can tell me what spells, if any, are currently affecting a creature that I touch. So that's what I'm trying to see, what is, if anything's affecting Grigori at this moment.
As of right now, there are no spells currently affecting Grigori.
Grigori, I don't detect anything currently affecting you. This is good news, because some magical spells have the power of compulsion, that if you were to try to act against them, you would be compelled or suffer pain or some sort of consequence. But I detect no such thing upon your person.
Well, we are fortunate in that regards. If, however, we do not maintain this ruse sufficiently and the Lich discovers it, there will be many mortal consequences.
For whom?
Well, for all of
Precisely.
us. Worse for me, but bad for all of you.
Grigori, I appreciate what you did in there for the sake of our party. It is clear that you put yourself on the line, and that cannot be denied.
It will not be a mistake I make twice.
I will seek out means to protect you from divination magic.
That would be helpful. In the meantime, we've nothing to fear if we find out where this machine is and fulfill the other conditions. This matter will be resolved without any consequence one way or the other.
Oh, and by the way, Artis, we were sent here to get the ring off of you. But as you can see, we found a better way about this.
You were here to take my ring.
No. We if you were ended up being a good guy, we were just gonna help you.
That's not what
We
we
were
were
here.
to
We
do.
were here to
But-
find the Red Wizards of Fae. Your ring was a secondary thing somebody mentioned. It's not
But
such a big deal.
now that we know the real way to end this problem for not just one person but for everyone, I thought it best that you know what circumstances brought us together.
All right.
It's giants and try to stop them from fighting you on your behalf.
Well, I've kept worse company.
Great.
I appreciate your honesty.
Grigori,
Yes.
you've had a very long day. Would you like a massage?
Perhaps another time, dear.
Okay. And with that, you go for the night. You sleep well. Make sure everyone's spells are completely refreshed. Done.
Thanks.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's great. We should all have that macro.
I don't think they can use it. When you wake up and the sun rises, Greco,
Yes.
something immediately catches your eye, just off the side of the clearing that you're currently in. Okay, so you're in the hut. The hut is going to die down soon. You see a little yellow flower. poking its head from the
Ooh.
tree. That is a very familiar looking flower. It is the yellow musk creeper
All right.
that you would be interested in seeing. Roll a perception check for me.
That I will.
Unfortunately, the yellow musk creeper is not alone. There are 6 albino dwarves that immediately jump out of the trees towards you and your party, having done quite well at stealthing up to this point. We will engage in this battle next time on Crituitous RP. Because Stephen has to go and it's his flower. We don't want to do this without him.
Grigori just wants to hurl so many fireballs right now.
Yeah. All right. So we will pick the adventure up next week. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed this much more RP-centric adventure as the characters met this individual Arta Simba. The relationship between him and the party will continue to progress. Grigori met a Lich who is now constantly going to be watching over his shoulder. The pace is picking up. The goal is set. The party need to find the Soulmonger, or at least find a way to find where the Soulmonger is. So thank you very much for joining us. Once again, we would like to thank everyone who has followed us or subscribed to our Twitch channel, or who subscribes to us on YouTube afterwards. All of our episodes are put up on our YouTube channel as well. If you liked what you saw, then please come along and join us next week and bring a friend. Remember, I will remind you one more time, we have a goal. As soon as we hit 100 followers, we will do a giveaway where someone gets a copy of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes for free. So, woo! And none of us get to be a part of that. So it's just for you. Just
For the fan.
As well as that, if you enjoyed watching the roleplay, the communications, if you enjoyed seeing the little hints towards a bit of a triangle right now between Zola, Grigori, and Tower, the relationship is building, as well as in session, but also outside of session during our Campfire RP. Our players chat to one another during the week, and the past couple of weeks has been a lot of team building exercises of sorts, communication. So if you would like to read along as the chat is happening, live throughout the week, then you can gain access to that by supporting us on Patreon. That is patreon.com/Tearvent. Follow us on Twitter at Crituitous RP, and follow us on Tumblr, where our previous Campfire RPs are also uploaded, and that is crituitousrp.tumblr.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned for the new adventure that will be starting on the 27th. Thank you very much, and we will see you all next week. Good night.